And I remember telling him, by the way, you don't look like your pictures. And he was like, of course I look like my pictures. Immediately I got into the taxi. I just got on Tinder and unmatched him. I just got on WhatsApp and blocked him. I was like, the audacity. And I remember saying, it's my boyfriend's card. Hello my beautiful and gorgeous friends, welcome and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for stopping by. If you're new here, my name is Vanessa, also known as Nessa Naima. Thank you so much to all my returning subscribers. Thank you so much for the love. If you're new here and you haven't subscribed, what are you doing? Please hit that subscribe button so you can join the latest family on YouTube right now. So guys, ask and you shall receive. So guys, today's video will be a story time of my crazy week here in Dubai. Not really crazy, but a lot of interesting things have really happened, and I think you guys deserve a story time. It's a lot of different stories, so it's not going to be just one story. I'll just give you guys the tea. So guys, as you all know, I came here in Dubai for my birthday, and the plan is to stay for as long as I can. And I am here with my boyfriend, but currently as we speak, he flew to Kuwait for some business deals and he left me all alone. So I was just at home and I just thought, you know what, let me see what's on Tinder. What's on Tinder in Dubai. Guys, it's not cheating. First of all, before you guys come for me, just know I had no intentions of cheating. I didn't cheat. I just wanted some free food and some nice restaurants and some free drinks. So guys, I got on Tinder. I got on Tinder and I started swiping left and right, and of course I had some matches. And this one specific guy, he caught my attention. We'll call him, what do we call him? We'll call him Guy X. So Guy X, we matched and then he texted me and he was like, okay, let me just pull up those messages so that I don't leave out any details. But basically he was saying something like, are you ready to be my good girl? And I said something like, it depends. And he asked me, what does it depend on? I said, let's meet and I'll show you. Honestly guys, at this point I didn't even know what I was talking about. I was just trying to match his vibe and just be indirect, you know. So he said, okay. I asked him, where are you from? He said he's from Ireland, meaning he's Irish. And then he said he's here on a business trip, that he doesn't live here. So immediately I thought like, okay, maybe this guy, he's maybe just looking for a good time, or he just wants to go out and he doesn't want to go out alone. And I said, yeah, also me, I feel like going out and I don't want to go out alone. So I texted my boyfriend and I was like, I'm going out with my friend and his boyfriend.
Wait a minute. Who are you?
And immediately he was like, your friend and his boyfriend? It doesn't work like that. But I was like, even you, when you're in Kenya, I can meet you and I'm with my friend and you won't have any problem. The boyfriend won't have any problem, blah, blah, blah. And he was like, okay, yeah, you can go. So I dressed up. I did my makeup. I just did kidogo makeup and I put on some decent clothes and we were ready to meet. He told me that he's only here for 2 weeks and it had already been 1 week already. And trust me guys, he looked so good. I wish I can show you guys I can show you his profile, but sadly I can't. And I asked him, will you send me a taxi? And he was like, yeah, sure. So he sent me a taxi. I was like, yay, green flag. Because usually when I go for dates, I like someone to pick me up or just send me an Uber. Like, I can pay for my own, but it's more romantic this way, you know what I'm saying? Anyway guys, so I dressed up and we went to this place. It was called Carter's, and it was so hard to find this place. And in Dubai, like when you put a location, it just takes you exactly there. But this time I don't know why it was so hard to find this place. Me and the taxi driver, we went round and round trying to look for this place, but finally we found this place. So are you ready for the tea? So I texted him. The place was inside the mall. It was a bar, but it was inside the mall. Not a club, not a restaurant, but like a pub, like an Irish pub. So I texted him and I was like, hi, I'm here. And I asked him, where are you sitting? He said, just come inside, I'm going to see you. I said, okay. Guys, the number one mistake that I did, usually when I go for dates, I usually like to check the places online, to Google how the place looks like, so that I can know what I should wear, if I should be overdressed, if I will be overdressed, underdressed. But this time I didn't just check, I just trusted him. Mistake number two, I trusted his choice of the venue. So I got to this place and it was just not my cup of tea. It was an Irish pub, of course. Like, how could I miss that? Like, of course he was going to choose an Irish pub. It was an Irish pub. It was dark. They were playing country music. It was so loud. And it was just smelling like beer and cigarettes. Sorry to say. So like from the moment I set foot inside that place, like I had already taken points out. He was a 9, but after seeing the choice of venue, it just dropped to 5. So anyway guys, I went in and I didn't see him. I looked at his profile picture and I was looking around to see if I will see someone who looks familiar or someone who looks like the photo that I have. And I couldn't see him. I texted him. I said, hey, I cannot see you. Can you come and get me? I'm just at the entrance. And he came. And I remember feeling like, do I know you? Or like, you look so different. And I thought I was actually speaking to the wrong person. So he came and okay, he didn't look the way he was looking in the photos. Also me, I don't look the same as the photos, fine. But for him, he's a guy, it was so different. Like, he didn't have any makeup on, so I expected him to look the same. And he was so tall, like he was so tall, he was legit 2 meters. And me with my 5'5" height, like, it was such a big difference. Don't get me wrong, I like tall guys, like I don't mind, but he was so tall. And he was so hairy. And guys, I'm sorry to say this, but I remember the first thing I noticed when I looked at him was his big ears. Like, he had such big ears, and I'm not even exaggerating. Like, instead of talking to someone and you look at their face, I was just looking at the ears and I was like, how can one person have such big ears? But I didn't judge. We went to the table and he was already drinking a beer. And the waiter came up to me and he was like, oh, you've kept this guy waiting here for 4 hours. I was like, 4 hours? No. Like, I was on time, but we didn't know where this place was because it was somewhere inside. Actually, it was in the mall. That's why we couldn't find it. It was inside the mall. So he asked me if I want to drink anything. Of course, I want to drink something. Otherwise, what did I come here to do, you know? And I asked for my cocktail. I had this gin and something, I think gin and raspberry. It was nice. And he was drinking his beer. And there was a football game playing, and also there was loud country music. So of course we couldn't have like a decent conversation. So I just found myself looking at him And I just started laughing or giggling because I was wondering, like, how the hell do you choose an Irish pub with loud music and rowdy people for a first date? And I was just like, okay. So luckily, this place had a terrace outside, and I wanted to smoke a cigarette. So I said, I'm just gonna go out and smoke. I'll be right back. Remember, guys, at this point, we can't even speak, so he doesn't even know if my real name is the one that is on Tinder, because usually I don't use my real name ever until I meet someone. That is when I tell you my real name. So I knew his name, but he didn't know mine. And it was so funny because every time he used to call me, like he wanted to talk to me, he was calling me this name that I use on Tinder. For example, like Kylie, for example, I use Kylie, and he was like, Kylie. At the back of my head, I'm hearing someone is calling someone, but it's not hitting me that it's me. So I was like snobbing him, and then I'm realizing, oh wait, shit, maybe you're Kylie. And then I'm like, yes. So anyway, I said I'm going to smoke, and he said, okay, yeah, we can go and smoke. So we went outside. He went with me outside. I had a cigarette. Luckily at the terrace it was quiet, but the only problem is it was so packed, like it was so full. I had to sit at a table that had other people that were smoking also outside. And I am a smoker, but when I'm in a room that so many people are smoking, I tend to feel sick. So I started feeling sick. I started feeling like I want to puke, and it was just uncomfortable. Like that whole night was just uncomfortable until that time. So luckily someone else moved at the table, and we went to sit there. So now this at this point is when we can now start talking. So we started talking, and he's like, Kylie, which I don't call myself Kylie, but I'm using Kylie for the purposes of this video. He's like, Kylie. I'm like, oh yes. He's like, so tell me, what do you do? What are you doing here in Dubai? Blah blah blah. Red flag number 2. I just felt like he was so boring, because before we met I had already told him all these things, and he didn't have anything else to talk about. So he decided to ask me again, like, what am I doing in Dubai? All these things that he had asked me before, but just to be polite I answered, and I didn't have anything to ask him because he already told me everything before we met. So I finished smoking, and we decided, you know what, let's just continue sitting out here, because it's better to have a conversation, you know. So we continued sitting outside. Mark you, he's still drinking the beer that I found him with, and it was like 1 hour. Like we had stayed there for 1 hour, and he had already waited for me for like 30 minutes. He's still drinking the same beer. So of course I finished my cocktail, and he's not asking me if I want another one. He's not asking me if I'm okay. He's not saying anything. He just wants to talk. And it's not wrong to talk, guys, but let me tell you what this guy was talking to me about. I think he was heartbroken and fresh from a relationship. I don't think I know, because he started telling me, he asked me like, why are you single? I was like, actually I'm not single. I was just looking to go out and meet some new people. We don't have, it doesn't have to be serious, but you can make friends even on Tinder. And he was like, okay. As for me, I'm single. I've been single for 10 days now. And of course I asked, okay, what happened? He said, I was married for 8 years, and me and my wife recently just divorced. We didn't have any kids. Like he went on and on, like he told me everything. Trust me, guys, in the span of 30 minutes I already knew all these guys' problems. I already knew everything that led to the breakup, their favorite and their worst sex positions. Like it was just a lot for a first date. And the worst part, he ended up crying. So I was just, imagine, guys, you're on a first date with someone, a guy, not even a girl, you're on a date with a guy, and he starts crying. And I remember just sitting there like, okay, what should I do? Like, I don't know, like I was just so confused, and I remember just taking a cigarette and I started smoking. And afterwards, when he finished crying, he just wiped his tears. And mark you guys, he was a mature guy. Like his Tinder profile said he was 39. Yeah, so he was not like a small boy. He was mature. So I just remember telling him, I'm so sorry about your breakup, blah blah blah. I hope you will get over it, but I think it's too soon to start going out on dates. Because he started telling me, as for me now, I'm looking for something serious. I'm like, wait, nigga, you just got a divorce 10 days ago. Just like breathe, like take your time, explore, like get yourself back in the game. Because if you've been married for like 8 years, definitely there's still some things that you don't know about hitting on girls now. And he was also confessing it, and he was saying like, you know, I've been out of the game for so long, I'm sorry if you don't like this place, because he realized I was so uncomfortable and it was so noisy, and the guys who were watching football were so rowdy. It was actually the worst day. No, actually it was not the worst date. I have another experience back in Kenya for a Tinder date, but story for another day. This was my second worst date, and now it was almost 2 hours and he's not asking me if I want to drink something. So I called the waiter. Guys, it's so hot. This story is even making me hot. So I called the waiter, and I remember telling the waiter, I will have the same. And the waiter was like, okay, yeah, sure. And this guy had the audacity. No, he didn't say anything at first. He didn't say anything. And he was like, so do you drink much? Just after I asked for that drink, and he was like, so do you drink much? I said, usually when I'm back in Kenya and I'm with my friends and we are out, I do drink quite a lot, but I don't drink like that every day. And I remember asking him, why do you ask? And he said, you look like someone who drinks a lot. Third red flag of the night. How do I look like someone who drinks a lot? How does someone who drinks a lot look like? Because if I can recall, we've drank one drink from since I came there, and it was now 2 hours, and you're not asking me if I want to drink another drink or anything. And then we just sat there, and he continued telling me of how he wanted kids and the wife never wanted kids, that's why they broke up, and so many other things. And then he asked me, have you ever been arrested? No, have you ever slept in jail? I said, I've never slept in jail, but I've ever been arrested. I've ever slept in a cell for 24 hours for like a night. And I remember the look on his face was like, he was so surprised. And I was like, yeah, in my country, being arrested is, you can get arrested for something so small, like even something that you haven't done. I was just trying to explain. And he was like, yeah, also me, I've been arrested once, but it was nothing serious, blah blah blah. Like he was asking me questions so that he can judge me, because the kind of questions he was asking me, it's not like he wanted to know me. He just wanted to see how perfect of a wife material I will be to him. That's how I judged the whole situation, because he was asking me so many weird questions, like things like, how do I support myself here in Dubai? It's so expensive, blah blah blah. Like he was telling me his company is the one that is paying for him, and all these things, like so many unnecessary things. And immediately I was like, oh my god, this guy is so broke. Like I just remember telling myself like, shit, this guy is so broke. Like why the hell would I come on a date with such a guy? And then I just remember being so pissed off and my mood just going off, and I just started becoming boring. I wasn't even talking. And I remember telling him, by the way, you don't look like your pictures. And he was like, of course I look like my pictures. And I was like, no. And then I remember pulling up his WhatsApp profile photo, and I was like, do you want to tell me you look exactly like this? And I remember he got so offended, and he started saying, also you look the same as your pictures, but your pictures are lighter. I'm like, yeah, because I edit and I take my pictures in the sun. Anytime you take your pictures in the sun, your skin will always look lighter than what you are. Plus the editing, plus everything. I said, for me, I'm a girl, I have an excuse. And I was like, so what's your excuse? And I remember he got so pissed. And he said, okay, I'm going. Oh, he called the waiter and paid for the first drink and the second drink. He paid for my first drink and his first drink. And I was like, and the waiter, I remember the waiter asking him, and this drink that she has asked for, he was like, no. And then I didn't even talk, I just looked at him and I told the waiter, you know what, in fact, I'm hungry. Just bring me the food menu, I will pay all of it together. And I remember asking him, are you hungry? And he was like, no, I've already eaten. And at this point, I was already pissed. I told him, don't worry, if it's about the money, I'm going to pay for you, because this date is turning out to be bogus. I don't know the exact word that I used, but it was such a rude word. And he said, you know what, it was a mistake coming for this date. I'm like, I should be the one saying that, because how the hell do you invite me for a date? Fucking shit. Fuck. How the hell do you invite me for a date and you end up buying me one cocktail for 2.5 hours? So I was just like, you know what, adios. Oh, fuck this fucking fly. I was just like, adios, I will bounce. And he was just there. The funny part is that he stayed there and watched me eat, and everyone was on their phone. And then I remember, like, because he's wearing glasses, right? So when you're looking at your phone and you're wearing glasses, especially at night, there's definitely going to be a reflection on the glasses. And I remember he was looking at the picture of this girl and so many other pictures that they were together, and I was like, shit, this guy is still so heartbroken about this divorce. It's like he can't let go or something. And I understand him, but trust me guys, that was the worst, okay, the second worst date of my life. I ended up being so rude, and usually I'm a very polite person when it comes to first dates, but this one I just couldn't control myself. And after I finished eating and drank one more cocktail, he's still sitting there, my queue. He's not buying anything for himself. He's just on his phone and watching the football game. So I finished and I said, I think I want to go home. Are you still going to continue staying here? He's like, no, this place is so expensive. I'm like, but you picked it. And he was like, let's go to another place. I was like, hell no, I'm not going anywhere. I'm not going anywhere else with you at all. I just want to go home and sleep. And he was like, okay, then I will drop you. I'm like, you'll drop me? I thought you don't live here, you don't have a ride. He's like, no, we can take the same taxi and I will drop you. And I remember thinking to my head, okay, yeah, you can drop me because I'll save some coins. But then I remember thinking, oh shit, in the car for like 20 minutes with the same guy, I will lose it. So I just said bye-bye. He was like, I'll text you tomorrow. And in my head I was like, don't text me, I won't reply. But I just said okay. Immediately I got into the taxi. I just got on Tinder and unmatched him. I just got on WhatsApp and blocked him and just deleted our chats because I didn't want anything to be associated with this guy. So yeah, that was my date, guys. That was my date here in Dubai. That was my first Tinder date after I came here, and trust me, I will just stick to my boyfriend because the madness that is out here on Tinder, I don't think I can handle. The next story. I had 2 stories today. The first one was funny. This one now is a little bit sad. So here in Dubai, there's this place called JBR, standing for Jumeirah Beach Residence, and it's a famous beach. All the tourists like to go there. There's so many shops. I think you've seen it on my Instagram. If you've not, follow me on my Instagram because I post bomb ass pics on there, and also watch my previous vlogs. You'll know this place that I'm talking about. So it's called JBR, and it usually has this reputation for hookers. Like usually, and I'm not I'm not as in Sione Africans, but usually the hookers that are usually there that walk on the street, it's like Koinange Street somehow, but a classic Koinange Street, if I can say that. And so many black girls, Nigerians, Kenyans, like all black girls, Tanzanians, usually walk around there. And I was coming out of McDonald's with my friend, and I remember this girl, we were outside waiting for the taxi, and I remember there was a group of girls, this kind of girls also, they were standing outside McDonald's at a corner, like it's like they were having a conversation or discussing about something. And I remember just looking at them, and they really looked at us. I think they thought that, hey, these girls, they are new because we were looking so nice. It's actually in my vlog. Yeah, this is the story I told you. I will tell you the next day from my previous vlog. If you haven't watched that vlog, after this vlog, make sure you watch that vlog. Anyway, I remember them looking at us like how dare you come here and you want to throw us out of the market, something. Just that the look was just so weird. And as we were waiting for the taxi, one of them, the prettiest of them, actually came, and she told me hi. I said hi, and she also said hi to my friend. But my friend is not really like someone who talks to girls a lot. Like, she doesn't like making friends, especially here in Dubai, because she lives here and she knows what usually happens here. So I was like, hi, and she was like, you look nice. We said thank you. She said, me and my friends, we have a problem, but my friends are too shy to come and talk to you. I was like, which kind of problem will make you just walk to a random girl? And I remember thinking in my head, immediately, they want to ask me for money. And I was like, which problem? And then she started saying, oh, we come from Sharjah. Sharjah is a little bit far. That's where like most Africans live. It's like the ghetto of Dubai, but it's not really ghetto. It's just like a lot of houses. It's like a classy pipeline. So you know pipeline in Embakasi, but a classy version of it. And we lived there, and we came all the way here, but we don't have taxi money to go back home. We don't have taxi money to go back home. Excuse me. And I was like, okay, so how can I help you? And she was like, can you give us some money for taxi, like 100 or 150? And I was like, 150 is 4,500 Kenya shillings or even more. I was like, unfortunately, I also don't have money. I'm using my card. This girl had the audacity to tell me, there's an ATM actually just here in front. We can go and you can remove this for me. I was like, the audacity. And I remember saying, it's my boyfriend's card. I cannot withdraw. I'm paying with my boyfriend's card. And she was like, okay, just like she really wanted me to get the money out. At this time when I'm speaking, my friend already left. She already walked out of that situation, and she had already crossed the road and left me there to deal with these shenanigans on my own. And I remember telling her, like, I'm so sorry, I cannot help you. And she was like, and your friend? I said, she's my sister and we came here together. She's also using her boyfriend's card. And this girl was like, okay, thank you, I hope to see you tomorrow. I was like, I hope to not see you tomorrow. And like, guys, it's not a funny story. Like, it's not so good to hear these things, because girls usually come here to Dubai and they come here and they overstay their visa, and they're now on runaway. It's called like a runaway, because you don't have papers, you don't have documents, you have overstayed, you don't have money, you're living in a room with like 10 other girls, that you sleep with guys, you changa the money so that you can pay the rent, just so you can live in Dubai. And I'm sure back in your country you will have been more comfortable. So yeah, that's what happened that night. And from that night I just told myself, you know what, if you don't have money, just don't come to Dubai, don't go in a foreign country. Because I could tell that these girls really didn't have money, because they were so stranded, like they looked so stressed. and I think they didn't get customers for that night. That's why they were stranded, because usually she told me like, you know, we usually come here and we get luck. So by luck, I think she meant customers. And this girl was so pretty, oh my god. She told me she was from Senegal. I thought she was from Nigeria because of the accent, but she told me she's from Senegal. And she even asked me for my number, but I was like, I'm sorry, but no, I'm actually leaving tomorrow, just to be polite, you know. But I just didn't want to associate with that kind of vibe, you know. Maybe they are desperate. Guys, please don't get me wrong, I'm not judging anyone. People do crazy things for money, but I just feel like sometimes there's a better option, you know. Anyway guys, I'm running late. I had done my makeup early, so that's why I decided to give you a story time, but I think it's time for me to actually go. It's now 6:26 and I'm supposed to be somewhere by 6, and I'm taking the bus as usual, so I'm gonna be late. Anyway, I'll see you guys. No. Anyways, be sure to give this video a thumbs up. Let me know if you want to hear more of my crazy stories, because guys, trust me, I've had my own share of craziness in this country and back home also. Like, I have so much to share, but just let me know if you love such kind of content, and I will be sure to create more stories for you and make you laugh and just educate you. Anyway, I think I'm talking too much. Thank you so much for watching this video till the end. Please be sure to give it a thumbs up, subscribe, tell your friends to watch me, because like I usually say, imagine I'm interesting. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye bye.